Okay guys, in this video, I'm going to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes that I see that print-on-demand sellers make. Now, before we jump into this, quick disclaimer, I'm not an expert. I'm a print-on-demand seller just like you, but I have been doing this for about 5 years now. I've learned a lot of lessons, but I still make a lot of mistakes. These are just my observations and things that I've learned that I want to share with you. All right, so let's dive right into it. Okay, so number one on the list is that people don't learn the niche that they're researching. They don't dive deep enough into that particular niche or topic to really understand what it's about and what those customers want in a product. So it's easy to go online and do research and come up with different niches and ideas, but are you really understanding what that niche is about? Are you really creating something unique that's gonna speak to that customer or speak to that target buyer? What I mean by that is, read about the niche. If you're creating designs for lacrosse t-shirts, read about lacrosse. Look into the different types of lacrosse games or lacrosse history, or look up lacrosse memes. What do people think is funny in that niche? What are common things that lacrosse players can relate to? Anything that you can kind of show that you've done some deep diving research in that niche that's going to speak to that customer is going to give you a better chance to stand out and make sales, especially from all the other people who are just putting up the same generic stuff. The deeper you dive into a niche, the better chances you have of creating something unique that's gonna stand out. Okay, number two on the list is that I see people go too broad too soon. So what I mean by that is they create a large quantity of designs, just kind of peppering and scattering all over different niches. And although that tactic can work once you get to the bigger and larger tiers, when you're first starting out, this is really hard, especially if you're creating a shop on Etsy or Redbubble or Teespring or one of these other print-on-demand platforms where you kind of have a profile and a shop, an overall theme, people see all of your designs together. It's really important that you have some kind of focus, because if you try and design for everyone, you're really going to speak to no one, right? So don't go too broad too soon. It's better to find a niche that you're very comfortable with and go broad within that niche, right? So you're really covering all the bases within that subtopic or subcategory. Okay, number three on the list. This is a big one for me, and it's that people rely a little too much on tools. So I have no problem with using tools. There's a lot of different methods and tools that you can use with print on demand to filter results and look at keywords and look at BSRs and look at rankings and look at sales history and all these different metrics, and they're great. But what happens, I think, is that people rely a little bit too much on those tools. And those tools tend to show a lot of the same things to your competitors, to other people. So I think the tools are good and they can be used to assist you, but you really need to just use your mind and your common sense. I mean, everyone out there, I don't care who you are, you have knowledge of something, right? So take a look around your room. Think about what you're educated on, or maybe your professional experience. What are your hobbies, your interests? There has to be something out there that you're knowledgeable on that you can think of a way to create a product or create a design that's going to speak to whatever that is. The tools are great, but they're not an end-all answer, right? They can assist you, but you really need to prioritize and think outside the box, right? So minimize the distractions, turn off the tools for a minute, and spend an hour with a notepad and a piece of paper and write down some things that you're knowledgeable about, your strengths, and sort of branch and brainstorm out from there, and you'd be surprised at what you can come up with. Okay, number four on the list, copyright and trademark problems. If you're in the print-on-demand space and you don't understand copyright and trademark law, you're gonna be in this game for a short period of time, because companies are getting more and more strict on copyright infringement and trademark infringement, and as a print-on-demand seller, you need to be thinking about this long-term. If you're trying to get by squeezing in designs that violate copyrights or have trademarks on them, you're gonna get axed, and don't do it. It's just not worth it. Really be disciplined with yourself and set your standards from the beginning that you're not going to infringe on any copyright, you're not going to infringe on any trademarks. You're going to learn how to check these. There's plenty of YouTube videos out there on how to check copyright and trademarks whenever you're making designs, and be original and create something that is unique to you, to your interests, or to your customer target group. Okay, number five on the list is people who just recreate the same designs that are already out there online. And what that does is it sort of floods the market and waters down the quality. And if you want to stand out, especially if you're in a lower tier or medium tier and you're trying to get these sales, don't recreate something that's already been done. You can look at it and say, what is successful about this design? What is it that people like about it? But put your own unique spin on it. People rely a lot on these graphic packs and image packs and things like that, where these different vector libraries, and there's some great stuff on there, don't get me wrong, but you can't just repurpose that same thing. As print on demand grows and more people are selling on the platform, those things are going to become more and more common. So the sooner that you can learn to differentiate your designs from the competition while still appealing to that customer, you're going to make more sales and you're going to stand out amongst the pack. Okay, for number 6 on the list, this is where people treat all design strategies the same. And what I mean by that is when I'm creating a design or a bundle of designs, I'm immediately thinking about how am I going to market this? Who am I going to speak to? What is the price point? And what do people in this niche like? So if I'm creating designs for adult bachelor males, that's going to be a totally different style of font, style of graphic, totally different set of keywords than if I was creating designs for gender reveal shirts for people who are having babies. You can see that those two things are way different on the spectrum, and the strategy on how you go about creating those designs, researching the designs, coming up with the keywords, and even pricing those designs varies quite a bit. Your strategy shouldn't be a blanket approach across all of your products. Instead, it should be, what's my strategy for this particular design? Okay, number 7 on the list is underpricing your designs or pricing your designs wrong in general. One issue that I see a lot is that people simply underprice their designs. They just price too low. If you're new to Merch by Amazon, or if you've been on the platform a while, you'll know that they just reduced the royalties for 2023. So instead of making $5.23 for a shirt at $19.99, it's now less than $5. And I think this is the second or third time that they've reduced the royalties over the years. You guys got to treat this like a business and adjust your prices according to your costs. So don't undercut yourself, right? You want to be able to make money, but that should go along with your strategy. And if your strategy is to price low at the beginning and then raise the price after you get some sales, well, that's fine. But don't just underprice yourself out of the competition right out of the gate. And secondly, don't put the wrong prices for products, right? So again, you got to think about your customer here and who you're speaking to, and ask yourself, is this customer willing to pay XYZ price that you're thinking of putting it at? Okay, number 8 on the list is not thinking about your print-on-demand business in the long term. This is a long-term business, and you should be treating your print-on-demand business as the long-term game. So what I mean by that is, instead of creating designs that are only going to sell once per year, or maybe only sell once ever because it's maybe centered around some kind of specific event or specific holiday, instead try and shift your viewpoint here a little bit so that you can create a design that's going to sell 1 year, 3 year, even 5 years down the road. By doing that, you're stretching out the revenue that you're going to achieve off of that design, and it's going to be this reciprocal income that's going to keep paying you over and over again. Okay, number 9 on the list is creating bad mock-ups or bad photos for your print-on-demand products. It's really important. I mean, people's attention span is dropping every day, and if you only have a half a second or 1 second in the feed for your product to show up, you have to be absolutely sure it is a great photo and great mock-up. You know, my general advice is you should be testing your different mock-ups to see which ones are getting clicks and sales. So you can do an A and B testing. You pick a design and you put an A mock-up and a B mock-up for the same exact product and the same exact keywords, and do some testing to see which design is getting the most clicks and the most sales. Having a good mock-up or good photo of your print-on-demand product is critical to getting a click. Okay, number 10 on the list, this is a big one, I saved this one for last, is that people don't spend enough time on their keywords, titles, tags, and descriptions. All right, so let me break it down like this. Let's say you have the world's best design, right? You've illustrated something, or you've hired this designer, you found this super cool niche product with high demand and low competition, and you've created the best design, and you throw it up on the platform, and you slap on some keywords. Next thing you know, days go by and you don't get a sale. What happens is you can have the best design in the world, but if the algorithm of whatever platform you're designing for, whether it's Amazon or Etsy or Redbubble or whatever else, doesn't know what keywords the customer is searching for and how to match that to your product, your design is not likely to get seen. The inverse is true. You can have the best keywords in the world where it comes up right away, but if you have a crappy design, people aren't going to click purchase, and the algorithm is going to learn, hey, people type in these keywords, but they don't like this product, they're clicking on this product. So it's really important that you take your tags, titles, keywords, descriptions, whatever metrics on whatever platform it is that you're selling on, you gotta take those seriously. Really dive deep into research, put yourself in the customer's shoes and ask, what are they searching for? By doing that, you're going to give your design, whatever design it is, the best chance of coming up in the search results. Then they're going to see that photo or that image, right? The mock-up. They're going to get a click. Then they're gonna look at the price, and if the price is good, they're gonna add to cart and it'll convert into a sale. Okay, so let's recap the 10 biggest mistakes I see with print-on-demand sellers. Number 1, people don't learn the niche. You have to dive deep into your niche research and really understand what you're trying to create and who it's for. Number 2, going too broad too soon. It's better to start with a narrow focus and then broaden your designs over time than go too broad too soon where you're appealing to everyone but really no one. Number 3, relying too much on the tools. Tools can be great to validate and assist you while doing your research, but your brain and common sense is the best tool of all. Number 4, copyright and trademark problems. If you want to be successful as a print-on-demand seller, you need to educate yourself on copyright law and trademark law. Number 5, recreating or regurgitating the same designs. That strategy may have worked a couple years ago, but you have to find a unique proposition and a way for your designs to stand out. Number 6, treating all design strategies the same. Each time I create a design or a bundle of designs, I am thinking of my strategy and how it's going to make that product stand out amongst the competition. Number 7, underpricing or incorrectly pricing your products. Don't underprice yourself out of the competition and don't overprice yourself out of the competition. It's important you do research to figure out what kind of price point this customer is going to convert at. Number 8, not thinking about print on demand as a long-term business. Each and every design you create, you should be asking yourself, is this going to sell in 1 year, 3 years, or even 5 years down the road? Number 9, using bad photos or bad mock-ups. Having a crisp, clear mock-up that showcases your product is critical to getting that click and converting into a sale. And number 10, not spending enough time on keywords, titles, tags, and descriptions. You have to tell the algorithm precisely what your product is about, precisely who it's for, and the better you get at doing this, the more sales you're gonna make. Okay guys, I hope this video gets your wheels spinning about some common print-on-demand mistakes. Don't worry, we all make them. I still make these same mistakes from time to time, and I have to remind myself to go back and kind of reset, think about my strategy, ask myself, did I do enough keyword research? All these different things that we talked about. This game is all about improving on your mistakes, learning from your past, and staying consistent. If you got value out of this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, and if you have a question, drop it down below in the comments, and I'm happy to answer. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video.